States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Whenever you're ready, Rick, roll call.
Michael Cashin,
Present.
Thomas Wood, Martin Mannix,
Present.
Meg LeFave,
Here.
Barb Hebert,
Present.
James Coffey,
Here.
and Rick Collins.
Thank you. Resolution 16161, approved minutes of the previous meeting.
Resolved that the minutes of August 1st, 2016 be approved and the reading of the minutes be dispensed with.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Mannix. And is there a second?
Seconded.
Hebert. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Martin Mannix,
Yes.
Meg LeFave,
Yes.
Barb Hebert,
Yes.
Mike Cashin.
Yes. Resolution does carry. Resolution 16162, abstract.
Resolved that the abstract of audit claims number 8B-16, 1518 to 1617 for $197,625.90. And abstract 8B-16, 317 to 335 prepays in the amount of $502,088.32 be received as reviewed by the audit committee, and the supervisor is hereby authorized to pay said abstract.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Hebert. Is there a second?
Second.
Fave. Any discussion? Seeing none. Roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Martin Mannix,
Yes.
Meg LeFave,
Yes.
Barb Hebert,
Yes.
Mike Cashin.
Yes. Resolution carries. Resolution 16163, monthly department head reports.
Resolved to receive and place on file the monthly department head reports, building and grounds, highway superintendent, supervisors financial, town clerk, codes and zoning, planning, and water and wastewater.
Is there a motion?
Excuse me, Parks and Recreation too?
Was it?
Yep.
Okay, I didn't see that.
Historian. Historian. Historian.
Okay.
No,
It wasn't.
July, you're right.
I'm sorry. It is, right?
All right. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Wood? Is there a second?
So moved.
Dave? Is there any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Martin Mannix,
Yes.
Meg LeFave,
Yes.
Barb Hebert,
Yes.
Mike Cashin.
Yes, resolution does carry. Proclamation 16164, proclamation of recognition.
Whereas Clinton Community College is a member unit of the State University of New York and is situated at Bluff Point in the town of Plattsburgh, overlooking the vista of Lake Champlain. Whereas the establishment of Clinton Community College, approved by Governor Nelson Rockefeller October 14, 1966, and with subsequent actions of the Board of Supervisors led by Bob Bruno, whereas the grounds of the campus, once known as the historical site Hotel Champlain, as described for presidents, captains of industry, and other celebrities, have transformed into higher education for the last 50 years, producing over 10,000 alumni. Whereas the mission of Clinton Community College is to provide educational opportunities that enrich minds, strengthen the economy, and improve the quality of life in our region. And whereas the college is setting a strong path for the next 50 years with Institute Advanced Manufacturing at a 30,000 square feet state-of-the-art facility, designed to serve as a regional hub for manufacturing education. Whereas Clinton Community College offers educational opportunities to all backgrounds and walks of life, and has a true mission, vision, and values. Therefore be resolved that the town board wishes to recognize Clinton Community College's students, faculty, staff, alumni, and friends of the college on its semi-annual centennial anniversary. The town board encourages our community and local businesses to demonstrate their support for all members of the college in recognition of this achievement, and their work as good ambassadors for Clinton Community College, the Adirondack Coast, and the state of New York.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Mannix, is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion?
I'll just say that, due to this college, my brother's been an RN for 30 years, working in many of the hospitals throughout different areas in the country, and currently Fletcher Allen. And wouldn't have, if it hadn't been for the nursing program there, a good nursing program, Clinton, I don't think he would have been.
Thanks, Tom.
I'm proud of my dad.
It wasn't,
If we're bragging.
it wasn't open when I was.
Any other comments? Seeing none, roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Mark Mannix,
Yes.
Meg LaFave,
Yes.
Barb Hebert,
Yes.
and Mike Gaston.
Yes, resolution does carry. Resolution 165, RFP bonding council services for the town of Plattsburgh.
Where the town of Plattsburgh hereby requests proposals from qualified firms to provide bounding council service to the town of Plattsburgh. The town of Plattsburgh has issued and is considered the issuance of general obligational bonds and notes via competitive sale and private sale for various capital projects. The town of Plattsburgh seeks to retain bond counsel in connection with such projects, which will be requiring long-term financing. Majority business enterprises and women businesses enterprises are encouraged to submit proposals. Now therefore be resolved, the town board, town of Plattsburgh does hereby authorize the supervisor to solicit and receive proposals for bond counsel for the town of Plattsburgh. And it be further resolved that 3 copies of the proposal must be received no later than September 21st, 2016 at 2 p.m. at the following address. Town Clerk, 151 Baker Road, Plattsburgh, New York, 12901. And it be further resolved, the finance manager receive a copy of this resolution.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Mannix and Wood. Any discussion? Alright, roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Mark Mannix,
Yes.
Meg LaFave,
Yes.
Barb Hebert,
Yes.
Mike Cash.
Yes, resolution does carry. Resolution 16166, request for RFP for financial advisor for the town of Plattsburgh.
Whereas the town of Plattsburgh hereby requests proposal from qualified firms to provide financial advisor services to assist in the development of financing alternatives for existing and future debt in the town of Plattsburgh, to serve as the town's consultant on debt financing for future projects. Whereas the town of Plattsburgh seeks to utilize the best combination of options available to adequately address the capital needs of the town, minority business enterprises and women's business enterprises are encouraged to submit proposals. Now therefore be resolved, the town board does hereby authorize the supervisor to solicit and receive proposals for financial advisor services to the town of Plattsburgh. And it be further resolved that 3 copies of the proposal must be received no later than 2 p.m. on September the 23rd, 2016 at the following address. Town Clerk, 151 Baker Road, Plattsburgh, New York. And it be further resolved, the finance manager receives a copy of this resolution.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Okay. Is there a second?
Seconded.
Hebert. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Mark Mannix,
Yes.
Mike LaFave,
Yes.
Barb Hebert,
Yes.
Mike Cash.
Yes, resolution so carries. Resolution 16167, petition for zoning map amendment.
Whereas at the regular scheduled work session on August 8, 2016, the Town of Plattsburgh Town Board did discuss and consider the merits and benefits of rezoning portions of the former Clinton County Airport from ADMU to ADTV, a zoning map amendment. Whereas approximately geographic area of the proposed zoning amendment is shown in the map entitled Proposed Zoning Map Amendment 2016 of the former Clinton County Airport. Whereas pursuant to Article 13, Section 17.3, all proposed amendments originating by petition or motion shall be referred to the Town of Plattsburgh Planning Board for report and recommendations thereof. Now therefore be resolved, the Town Board hereby referred to petition of the proposed amendment to the current Town of Plattsburgh zoning map to the Town of Plattsburgh's Planning Board for report and recommendations in accordance with Article 13, Section 17.3 of the Town of Plattsburgh zoning ordinance. And it be further resolved, the Planning Board shall submit its report to the Town Board within 45 days of receipt of such referral in accordance with the provisions of said zoning ordinance. And it be further resolved that a copy of this resolution be given to the Planning Department, Planning Board Chairman, and the Finance Manager.
Is there a motion?
I'll make this motion.
Annex. Is there a second?
Second.
Wood. Is there any discussion?
This particular change in the zoning would be adjacent to two areas that are already zoned in that fashion, and two previously zoned and used industrial park property, and this is where the water and sewer would be able to be hooked up. Is that correct?
Yeah. The other part to it is said during the work session that this is a more conservative approach, is to take those two other sections of the Clinton County Airport and connect them, creating one long stretch under that zoning. So it's also anticipated that the new company, Norsk Titanium, is seeking to be somewhere within that area in the middle, or could spill over between one of the two into the middle area. So it optimizes their ability to hook up to the utilities of water and wastewater, et cetera. Any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Martin Manick,
Yes.
Mike Cashman.
Yes.
Meg LeFave,
Yes.
Barb Hebert.
Yes.
Resolution carries. Resolution 16168, salary adjustment wages.
Whereas there are times when terms and conditions of employment may change and situations may develop, making it important to review employee wages, terms, and conditions of employment. Whereas in the letter attached August 5th, 2016, from tax receiver Jackie Blue, has made this request for an increase. Therefore be resolved that after due consideration and discussion with the finance manager, it is recommended of the supervisor that the taxpayer's request for salary adjustment be approved and the finance manager be authorized to make salary adjustment for Elaine Woods as indicated. And it be further resolved that Elaine Woods receive an hourly rate increase of $1.02, and it is to take effective on Monday, August the 15th, 2016. And it be resolved that a copy of this resolution be given to the finance manager, tax receiver, and a copy be placed in Mrs. Woods' personnel file.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Mannix. Is there a second?
Second.
Wood. Is there any discussion?
Understood. We try to make these two offices equivalent prior
That's right.
to this.
It's just, it's a very appropriate increase. It just makes the two deputies' wages equivalent.
It was also part of the budgetary process last year and some conversations, and now we're moving forward on some of this. So. Roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Martin Manick,
Yes.
Meg LeFave,
Yes.
Barb Hebert.
Yes.
Mike Cashman.
Yes, carried. Resolution 16169, appointment of administrative assistant, WW-W, or water wastewater, for the town of Plattsburgh.
Whereas the civil service examination for the position of administrative assistant was held in Valerie Coffey, provisional administration assistant for water and wastewater for the town of Plattsburgh, has successfully completed said examination. Now therefore be resolved that Valerie Coffey appointment as administrative assistant in the water and wastewater department with a probationary period until February 15, 2017. And that a copy of this resolution be given to the finance manager, director of water and wastewater of that department, and civil service, a copy be placed in her personnel file.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
LaFave, is there a second?
Seconded.
Hebert, is there any discussion?
Yeah, we've, in the past, always had year of probation, which would go to August 15, 2017. And I feel it shouldn't be changed till unless we're gonna change the whole policy. For a number of reasons, if we're going to make it general policy for everyone,
I'm sorry, Tom, how is that related to this?
excuse me,
How is that related to this?
this one is probation period for 6 months.
But that conversation, or we're just trying to get her into this position, we're not discussing the probationary period right now, are we?
Leave it to the conversation at hand and to see. Are you saying that you want to amend her probationary period?
The probationary period for previous employees has been a year.
It's been a little bit over the, over the map, to my understanding. When she went through the first round of this, it was on a 6-month probationary period, and then civil service, like many things in government, works at glacial speed. And here we are today. I personally advocate for 6-month periods of time for a number of reasons. One is, I think it puts more emphasis on the department heads to make sure that they're adequately reviewing employees and that things don't get pushed off. The other part to it is that if employee is not working well for the town, that we should be releasing them earlier and not allowing for the buildup of vacation time, et cetera, that we're gonna be paying out for them. That's my personal standpoint, but.
And I look at it like many of our positions are full-time, and there are different obligations and jobs that need to be performed at different times of the year, depending on the season. And when if you set the precedent of not having it for the year, you don't see that throughout. Yes, supervisors should be checking certainly within 2 months, and they should be, I think, doing evaluations every other month throughout that period. But it isn't necessary that a person stay on until the year's end before if they're not doing the job, if they're not capable of doing it, they can be dismissed at any time. They do not have to wait till the end of the year so that all that time accumulates. But I feel that because of the fact that there could be different things in different seasons for many of the jobs in different departments here, that we should continue to keep it a year.
I think, Tom, for the other reason with this particular appointment, she's been with us for a while now, that this 6 months will take us, I think slightly past the year, and she was on that probationary period in the previous position. So it's a little bit different. I could certainly understand where there are some positions that have a yearly cycle, maybe one item in their performance portfolio only occurs once a year. You may wanna make sure that they're able to execute that. But I very much appreciate Barb participating in some of the interviewing process. I think we've really begun to tighten up the interview process and things like that. I just present this the way that I say it here, but certainly won't take offense if someone wants to make an amendment on the floor.
I think to your point, Tom, I can appreciate what you're saying. I think for this situation, and we hold the supervisor and the department head to that scheduled evaluation process. Again, a year, a 12-month probation period doesn't allow for someone to be successful. So I've seen both of them, either 6 months or 12 months. I think it's all how it's executed beyond that, decision for the 6 month, as long as there is an evaluation process that takes place. so there's not a last-minute decision to dismiss them.
And I would almost see it as a case-by-case situation versus wholesale, it's, you know, all should be 6 months or all should be a year too. I mean, it's gonna be justified, and how are we mapping it out for the success of that person? Marty, were you gonna say something?
I think the 6-month standard is plenty for the majority of the positions that we deal with. I think there are occasionally some technical positions where we would want to consider a longer probationary period, but I think for the vast majority of positions, 6 months is adequate. And I think, as you pointed out, there are a number of reasons why we want to have a 6-month evaluating period.
I'm not saying they shouldn't be evaluated during the 6 months. I'm suggesting they should be evaluated regularly right from the beginning,
No, that's not what I'm saying.
and certainly be given a chance to.
I'm saying you can finish the evaluation within a 6-month period. If we've got supervisors who can't make that evaluation in 6 months, we got the wrong people doing the supervising. Okay?
I've been here when there was that situation, and that's another reason I believe this should be a year.
Well, I disagree.
So-
I'd like to call a question if we could.
The question's been called. Ricky, roll call?
Thomas Wood,
No?
Martin Mannix,
Yes.
Mike LeFave,
Yes.
Barb Hebert,
Yes.
Mike Casper.
Yes. Resolution does carry.
For the record, it's water/wastewater.
Thank you.
Like
I
Green
will,
Bay.
I will put forth, I would encourage folks to continue to think about this. This was about one individual, this isn't the policy on whether it's 6 months for all employees or a year for all employees. So just give that some consideration. All right, thank you. Resolution 16170, Deputy Town Clerk and Register of Vital Statistics pay rate.
Whereas Town Clerk Rick Collins has already submitted a letter dated August 4th, 2016, appointing Christine Briette as Deputy Town Clerk and Deputy Register of Vital Statistics for the Town of Plattsburgh to serve at the pleasure of the Town Clerk. It was also so adopted by the Town Board. Therefore, it be resolved that Ms. Briette will be receiving an hourly rate of $10 per hour and to take effect on Monday, August 15, 2016. And it be further resolved that a copy of this resolution be given to the finance manager, town clerk, and a copy of this resolution be put in Ms. Briette's personnel file.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Lefebvre. Is there a second?
Second?
Mannix. Any discussion? All right. Roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes?
Martin Mannix,
Yes.
Mike LeFave,
Yes.
Barb Hebert,
Yes.
Mike Casper.
Yes, resolution does carry. Resolution 16171, rules and regulations for the Town of Plattsburgh Community Mausoleum.
Whereas these rules and regulations will be adopted to secure the peace and good order of the mausoleum and cemetery grounds, to preserve the beauty of the grounds, and to protect the interests of the lots and grave owners as well as the taxpayers of the Town of Plattsburgh. All persons are required to observe these rules and regulations and are urged to report any infractions. And now therefore be resolved that a full copy of the rules and regulations be made available in the office of the town clerk and the mausoleum of the town website.
All right, is there a motion? Not all at once,
I'll
then.
make a motion, I'll make a motion that we adopt the rules and regulations.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Seconded.
Bert. Any discussion?
Again, Michael, this is a work in progress,
Yes.
phases.
We're gonna be going through multiple phases as we move through this process. As a reminder, we continue to work with Connie Goddard, who is our receiver. You will note that it's the Town of Plattsburgh Community Mausoleum regulations or rules and regulations. It's not Whispering Maples, so these will not apply unless Connie is the receiver, decides to use these as well. She continues to operate that facility under her guidance and leadership. There will be anticipated a number of other policies, procedures, practices that will either need to be adopted or put into action. Much appreciation goes out to our town clerk, Ricky Collins, who will be taking on a bulk of the responsibility. As you'll note, that in this document, it says that he's a point of contact, or he will be a point of contact for a variety of roles and procedures as it goes forward. Much of this, is the smaller items like a speed limit. They're just something wanting to be on record, to some other things about the procedure of what occurs when there's a potential transfer of property or real estate, contacting Ricky to make sure that we have appropriate record keeping. So this will be shared with Connie tomorrow, and it will be shared with Dave Fleming, who we are working with, and we'll continue to move it forward. So, any other discussion?
I think that this is the wrong process to be taking, and I think that any process should be focused on taking those folks who are way to rest their, out of there and putting them in the ground, and taking care of that property once and for all, so that we're not taking care of it forever.
I can appreciate your sentiment. I think that there's we're in a very unfortunate situation. So, other thoughts?
So, at this point in time then, she's working with the rules and regulations that they already have in effect, but she can incorporate these?
She could incorporate these. So
Because we're not actually running it now, we're
well,
still.
correct,
under
we are not, this is not in our hands or operation, but I'll give you an example of an action that she took was, you could go into that facility and you could see those kind of black and white and orange for sale signs that you can get at, Lowe's, and people were affixing them to, their property, saying, if you wanna buy one, call da-da-da-da-da, or, whatever email. So when she took over operating that facility, she stopped that. But in here, though, it also references that you can't just put signs up.
It has to go through the
So,
town.
when we take over, we're gonna have to adopt some similar rules and regulations and so on and so forth. This is a process. I mean, the receivership right now is towards the end of September. Who knows? We've already seen an extension of the receivership. That could occur again. I'm not saying it won't happen, I'm not saying that it will happen.
We go by, weeks go on and nothing happens. And, so then somebody gets it in their head that, just because a date has come along, doesn't mean that, that should trigger a transfer. They have responsibilities, and I, for one, and I don't think I'm the only person on this board that feels this way, wanna see the state live up to their responsibilities.
But us holding the state accountable is, I get it, because they put this on us, but it's also possible for us to start a new conversation and to have them work with us to take care of this. This is a perpetual thing, it's going to go on forever and ever.
And to piggyback to Meg's comment, it's not a disheartening or disingenuous comment. I look at it as a solution.
What?
I'm not gonna say where you talked about the solution to take, again.
I
this is a
don't
very-
see what we're doing as a solution,
Yeah.
I see it as perpetuating a problem.
I have very mixed emotions about it. I mean, I've said, before, that I'm not looking to sell Crips, for example, but as you had noted, Marty, I reserve the right to change my opinion, and that's not a flip-flop. It's a change of opinion. And, there's been a lot of stuff thrown at us at the municipal level by the state. And I can say, I'm very, very appreciative of the senator and the assemblywoman for truly being champions, working with us, on this very emotional situation. I mean, we are talking about grandparents, parents, children, veterans, I mean, a whole number of people. It's an emotional powder keg, but also doing our very best to be responsible for the taxpayers. That's why seeking the perpetual care funds, that's why making sure that we, we can capture funds to get that facility up to par. But I think we've all seen a number of things that New York State does that just, gets our blood boiling, and this is one of them, so.
So passing this, we're not accepting any responsibility for facility as yet.
No, this is not about the current facility. This is part of a process and moving forward towards the inevitable transfer that we have been told that will occur.
Meg, I see exactly the issue that you're raising. I don't know, there may be benefit in trying to, for us in trying to get a meeting set up, get people from Albany to come here again. With full recognition of the fact that part of the reason we want them to come here is we haven't seen anything happen. And winter's not that far away. And we've had engineering work studies that have occurred. But that does not mean that, any contracts have been issued to anybody to do any work. And pretty soon, we're gonna be in a season where, we could have, another winter setting in. And I think those are all reasons for us to say, can't we get some movement? But the other part of it is, it's just like, you can't move into a home that a contractor's building for you prematurely. You do that and you're dead. You've lost your ability to negotiate or to litigate, okay? You have to maintain, okay, that they're gonna deliver on that contract that they had, as they should. And that's some of where we're at. And, I think where we're at right now is, it's back in the hands of the state, and that's where it belongs.
Does it?
It belongs there until they meet the responsibilities that they should have been meeting for the last number of years. And they sought to drop those responsibilities into our lap. And we said, no, you don't do that. And so that's where the impasse occurred.
I think there's a number of points that we've been very successful in. Initially, this was almost just dropped in our lap and kind of, the state was just gonna walk away. Working with Ellenberg, we have been able to educate the public, because even folks that have family members or loved ones there, they're horrified by what the state, had allowed to go on. We continue to leverage our relationship. We continue to work in collaboration with the senator and the assemblywoman and others. And but also, again, the receivership has been extended. Initially, that was not what they were hoping for. So, we continue to work, but more importantly, advocate for the resources that are needed. I don't think that there's a number of simple solutions, and I can tell you that I've talked with a couple of folks that, have said that should someone, be it the state, et cetera, want to take their loved ones out of those facilities and do a ground burial, that they would fight it tooth and nail, because that wasn't the last wishes of their loved ones. So it's such a complex, emotional situation.
It will continue to be complex and emotional.
Oh, I don't,
For as long as it's standing.
I'm not,
We can resolve it, it might take years to get it down, but it can be resolved. Otherwise, it's gonna go on forever. That's all I'm saying.
And you can see that.
And we can talk about it all night, we're not gonna resolve anything.
And there's a lot of passion, I think, around the town board members, and we're certainly thinking about our taxpayers, but
That's why we're here, that's our job.
your investment of time, Michael, to acknowledge, to ask you the question directly, you spent a lot of time. Would you say you spent a lot of time during the week on this? I'm not asking for percentage of effort, but do you?
Monday through Sunday, there's been lots of times, I mean, I can tell you that it's, as we all know, as a public servant, you can be out in the community anywhere, and someone reads something in the newspaper the day before or that morning, and they wanna talk about it. I mean, I've been in Hannaford's or, various locations, and people wanna talk about what's going on with that, facility. And when you drive by, the frontage looks like it may be okay, but it was that initial picture that captured, what was going on in the background, that I think really began to help educate people, what was going on. So, yeah, I'm spending a lot of time and energy, throughout the day, into the evening,
And you will continue to, as long as you hold this position, as long as everyone
Absolutely.
will understand.
absolutely, and I knew that when I ran,
And we'll keep paying for it as long as we live here.
so.
Well,
All right,
you see, that he
we-
wasn't really answering your question, he was saying how this process would go. You're talking about a totally different thing.
Because I disagree with the process that we're
Well,
going, that we're
Yes,
doing.
and,
That's all I'm saying.
and I don't blame you. I disagreed with the process at the beginning too.
I'm gonna call the roll.
Thomas Wood,
Yes?
Mark Mannix,
Yes.
Meg Lefebvre,
No.
Barb Hebert,
Yes.
and Kat.
Yes, resolution does carry. I would accept a motion to end tonight's meeting at 7:37.
So moved.
Hebert, is there a second?
Second.
Dave? Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes?
Mark Mannix,
Yes.
Meg Lefebvre,
Yes.
Barb Hebert,
Yes.
and Kat.
Yes. Carries. All right, drive safe, everyone.
Oh my God. Where,
Credit expenses.
I wanna tell you something about that.
Really?